The beauty of formal management training is it gives you a structure. So what it's given me is a knowledge of basic concepts. I studied engineering, then I studied accountancy, I studied leadership, I studied various marketing and others. And it gives you a series of concepts that you can use to build your structure, and then you integrate that structure into the business. So it's been very useful. You don't use it every day, but it gives you a way of thinking, and it's that way of thinking that's helpful. I've gone into businesses where we've been in very hostile environments, but I've also gone into businesses where we're doing very well. So Porsche was a classic turnaround case. We were failing, we were bust, we were gone, banks wouldn't give us any more money, people were walking away, the dealers were throwing back their contracts. Really, it was the end of the line, and we had to do things in a very dramatic fashion. We had to do things very quickly. We built a plan in a week. We downscaled the workforce by 50% in a week. Terribly difficult things to do. But then we had a long-term plan to build our way back out of it, and it took us 3 years to do that. BMW, completely different. When I joined BMW, they were considered to be number one, and apparently everything was going very well. But when you lifted the stones and looked underneath, actually there was a lot of work to do. And the challenge is when it's going well, the challenge is getting the team to understand that we need to change or else we will go over the top. So it's kind of easier when the market's difficult, but that said, if a business is doing well, the trick is to make people understand it won't continue to do well unless you change it. Belief in the project is critical. What's key is to make sure everybody understands where we're going. The key part is about painting the vision. What's it look like? What will it look like when we're successful? And then to get people excited about that. So what I do is I work really hard to get people interested and excited about where we're going. The numbers will look after themselves. If I can get people excited, we make progress. The numbers will follow. Never focus on the numbers. Yes, you have to manage the numbers. Yes, you have to know what the numbers are. But what I use in terms of my leadership style is to get people focused on where we're going. Every business I've ever worked in, people are nervous about change. Change is uncomfortable. Change means I'm going to do something different tomorrow, I'm going to do it in a different way, my job might not be the same, might I have a job? What I do is I communicate. Stand up and tell people what we're doing, why we're doing it. And it's about building that passion, building that belief, but building that integrity so people trust me. I will tell you the truth. And if we're in a difficult situation, I will tell you we're in a difficult situation because I need you to help me to get out of it. We need to work together as a team to get this business where it needs to be. So it's about building trust. It's about engagement. And it's about sitting down with people and listening to what they're concerned about, but then helping them get through the change. And I kind of describe it, it's about taking away the fear. It's about doing something exciting. If you're going to do a parachute jump, do a parachute jump. But put a parachute on first, because if you don't put a parachute on, it doesn't end well. So what I do is help people to understand, look, we've got a parachute on, we know what we're going to do, now let's go do it. I get people excited, and then go. Managers need various core skills. They need the technical capability to do the job they're doing, whether that's an engineering job, or a technical job, or a financial job, or a marketing job. They need the core skills. But then it's about empathy and understanding and communication. If you're a researcher in a room on your own doing research, that's fine, do it. But most of the businesses I've ever been involved in, you need to create a team spirit. And that's about communication. That's about empathy. That's about showing people you care about them. Actually, it's important. My business will only succeed if you succeed. And I need you to enjoy what you're doing. We need to work together well and have fun. And I try to make it enjoyable. I want people to come into work every day and think, yeah, we're going to enjoy this. And if you're not, come and talk to me. Because is the job not right? Do you not have the right skills? Is something else wrong? Is the communication wrong? And let's deal with it. But let's be very honest and open about it. I was appointed to run Porsche. I was 32. I was as green as grass. We knew the scale of the challenge. In fact, it didn't. Honestly, we didn't. We didn't know how close to the edge we were. And if we knew that we were that far away from dropping into the abyss and disappearing, maybe we'd have panicked. What's changed is, as I've got older, I've been able to step back a little bit and trust people a lot more, to learn to delegate, to learn to let good people run. And at first, you kind of want to do everything yourself. You can't do it as well as I can do it. I roll my sleeves up and I'll do it. But then you learn to step back and realize this is a long-term game here. What I need to do is build a team rather than do it myself. And so the biggest thing that's changed with me as I've got older is I've learned to build a team, and I've learned to trust my instincts. When I appoint people, I go a lot on gut feel. Try and find people who kind of not are like me. I don't need people like me, because then they say yes to me, and I don't want people to say yes to me. I want people to challenge me. But I want people who've got the energy, the spark, the belief that we can do something different here. Motivating a team is what a leader must do. Although that said, I don't believe you can motivate people. I believe you can inspire people. I can create a belief in the success of where we can take this enterprise, this business, this team, and invite you to be part of it. I can't motivate you. You have to motivate yourself. I've had days where, yes, look, I fired half of Porsche and went home and cried my eyes out. It broke my heart. They were my friends. I'd worked with these people for 5 years. But the following day I had to get up and go back in and start work again, because we've got to rebuild that business. Generally speaking, day to day, I'm a pretty positive person, because you have to be. You've got, positive energy is contagious. If I come in and I'm negative as the leader of any enterprise or team, then that energy filters and people see it. So my job is to go in and be positive. And sometimes you have to kind of straighten your back and say, you know what, I don't feel great today, but we're going to go out and do this thing anyway, because you go away from business a minute. We're climbing a mountain or walking to the pole or whatever it is. There's no point in standing up and complaining. There's nowhere to go. Nobody's going to help you, so you better just get on with it, stand up, fasten that sledge on and get walking. And then, as the time passes, it becomes easier again. But it is a continuous process of staying positive. You have to stay positive. If you're negative, go do something else, because it won't work. Did I have a plan when I started my career? Not really. I wanted to be an engineer. I did that for a few years and realized that's not what I wanted to do, to be an engineer forever. So I acquired different skills and I moved off into accountancy, and I studied accountancy. So the plan was to give myself different skills. And as I say now, I can read a blueprint, I can read a balance sheet. But then I was given an opportunity to move into general management. And my plan, no, I didn't have a plan. I seek challenges. And what I've done is I think, if I could categorize my career, I'd say I've been a bit of an adventurer. So when I've reached the end of 4 or 5 years of doing something, BMW is a classic. We became #1 brand, everything was positive, it was just fantastic. And I walked away. And people said all sorts of things. They said I'd have a nervous breakdown, I'd done all kinds of weird, no. That was a phase, and now I wanted to do something else. So I went off and set up my own business. And it's about knowing yourself well enough to take the risk and move on. And I see people who stay in businesses. I've worked with guys who are still in those businesses today, and they are tired and they are frustrated. And they say to me, "You're so lucky." And I say, "Well, it's not about luck. Actually, 5 years ago, you could have come out with me and we could have gone to that business together." So be brave enough to lead your career, because if you don't have a plan, you're part of somebody else's plan, as they say. So have a plan.